Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today's video is gonna have a pretty nice before and after photo at the very end, but I just want to show you guys this is what it looked like when we first rolled up to it. There's actually a shop buried back there somewhere on this little road, and the main private drive is actually up on the left. You just can't see it. Property owner said he's lived here about 20 years, and quite simply, maintenance has not been done since he's been there. It's completely overgrown, so we're going to take all the stuff above the road, below the road, behind the shop, and behind another shop, and a house. We got the new Mechalec set up with mulcher head, so I'm pretty excited to use that. And also have the PrimeTech, and we're going to spray back over the top of everything with the chipper. Some of the larger diameter stuff, it's just easier to chip and spray and make it look all nice and pretty. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get to it. Alright guys, in the last video you saw we installed the FA mulcher head on the new Mechalec. Now, the claim to fame with these Mechalecs is, well, they bring a little bit more to the table than your conventional excavator, horsepower wise, and hydraulic flow to the end of the boom. Typically your standard excavator in the 20,000 pound class doesn't have enough to do everything, really, as far as hydraulic and horsepower to back it up. Either you got your boom out there too far with the head on, it doesn't quite have enough to lift it back up without cutting the head off. So you had to do that time and time again. I've ran the Kubota and I've ran the Takeuchi, and both of those, they're very capable machines. I'm not going to knock them as far as they do everything, and the fact that you put a mulcher head on it is even cooler. But the Mechalec, instead of running, you know, mid-60s horsepower, factory 75, but if you got a tune on it like this one does, I don't know where the tune came from, stop asking me. This one's got 100 horsepower, which is what the factory rating on the engine is. They're just detuned for, you know why. But then I got 37 gallon a minute, and I turned the pressure to 3,900 PSI. Factory spec stock out of the factory is 2,800, but it is good for 4,300 PSI, so I'm about 400 away from it. Now, what people don't understand with one of these machines, they think they can just turn and, you know, mulch like everything we deal with it. Skid steer replacement. No, not really. This is kind of a limited area kind of machine that you can't get a machine physically there. But since this boom stretches out 20 plus feet, yeah. So we already grubbed all the hillside here, mulched all the big stuff. I just reached up there and grabbed the stuff off, or we cut it down. But it needs to be tidied up, because we're going to spray the chips back over it for erosion prevention. That's a 10-foot cut bank right there, super steep up top, and we're just going to get the smaller stuff. But I want to see how this machine handles the weight of the head with it flowing, because it's 1,200-ish pounds. Granted, there wasn't really much material on there, but that looked pretty sweet. And then Jeff showed up with this nifty SD50 moon buggy mixed with long arm. I don't think I ran that half hour to buzz this out. A little longer. 8 minutes. Let her rip, Tater Chip. Point it up a little bit. Just let that thing go to the moon. You're not pointing that high. Log I got piled up right here. It's got an orange hat. All fueled up, ready to rock. Looks a little bit different here, I assume, since the last time they saw it. That's alright. We gotta go up top by the house, clean up a little bit of Scotch broom before we spray the hillside up there with chips from the chipper. So, got the Mulcher head back on. Had to shut her down earlier, or the other day when I used it, because this was a used fitting that we had for the case drain, and it was leaking a little bit. So cleaned up all my mess. Spent 75 bucks for a, what brand did I say that was? A Dixon USA. I got a water, so we're gonna go up there and, you know, do stuff. Well, let's see what happens here. I think it's fixing to start snowing, raining, a little blurp. I was hoping to have the chipper loaded up in the next hour. It's just gonna be tight. Need to come up in here, reach over the fence, get a couple of these spots, and then chip all this stuff up. Ready to get all this Scotch broom. And go back down there, switch into the grapple. Yeah, that shouldn't take too long. I think most of it I gotta get from up here. Man, check out the weather. Just working it. This thing runs the mulcher head pretty dang well. Normally with a smaller machine, you can't boom up as you're mulching. Is there enough flow for it? I don't even have this thing braked all the way up, wide open. I mentioned the PSI to you guys earlier. We gotta watch out for phone line things right there. The anchors for the power pole. Right up in there.
Big old, not a sombrero, a different kind of hat. He's wearing a mask. Jeff's still shuttling stuff from the neighbor's house. Hell of a load. Hell of a load. Well, I think this is about wrapped up here. Show you the before and after photos here at the end just to clue you in on how rough it was. I don't know how many years it's been since it was worked over. I think the property owner said he'd been here about 15 and he hadn't done much, and not much was done beforehand, but you couldn't even see the shop down here. That's pretty cool. You can open this all up. Yeah, truthfully, on the far side of the house is what we saw first, and there was no access to get what we needed really down there was a steel track machine. So we come looking, there's this overgrown little road, and I was like, oh, barn. Maybe something cool on it. Nothing. But we came to this job a couple days late because we were setting up the mulcher head on the Mechalek. Realistically, it's a straightforward, simple install, except for, you know, running 5-6 wires, plumbing your hydraulics, which this one already was plumbed. You just had to swap the fittings, and that thing took a while. But I'm glad that we got that thing set up, because that was one of the big perks of getting that machine, and it handles it night and day different from the dang old the other two. I've said it many times. I've ran a couple of the Kubotas with FE heads, and then I've ran a couple of, well, I've ran just one 290 with FE head on it. They both did all right, but there just wasn't enough hydraulic flow to get all the functions hit at once. And this one's got enough power and hydraulic flow that it's actually a pretty capable little beast. Up there, I reached whatever I could. Like, you see this stump way up there? The freaking Mechalek reached up there and grabbed that. That thing's got some reach. But I'll go up top. We loaded the chipper up. We're done here. It's supposed to have snowstorm come in, and it kind of feathered us a little bit, but it's chilly. There's a bite in the air, I'll tell you right now. So for anybody that was asking how the Mechalek fares with the mulcher head on it, holy jang, compared to the other machines of its class, even like 309 is supposed to have a, you know, a pump just for it. This one just got one big pump mixed with a little 100 horsepower and 4,000 psi, 37 gallon minutes with the dash sand. It has no trouble moving that and running it at the same time. Pretty dang happy about that. Just let's look here. This thing weighs 1,000 pounds by itself. So throw that thing around plus the 250 pound coupler. So that and some hoses, you could say 1,400 pounds, and it moves around with no problem while it's running. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'll show you the guys the finished product up top. We're out of here.